we use the number system again here, just to show how it could be used for this as well. And again, just some tidying up stuff here. And P input 2 again. That's we'll do an if, or if-then statement here. So if P input 2 equals 1, do nothing, essentially. So we're just going to save that. Else if P input 2 equals 0, or 2 rather, set quit to true. Alright, so now we need to do a few more things here. Let's see, game H. Actually, I'm going to just change this to P attributes. And I also have to put the reference in there, though. Reference pass. And that'll unredlinify that line of code there. And then we'll also add the function over to player as well. Put it underneath under this stuff. So we'll call it miscellaneous functions. Void get P status. That'll just return all the different variables in the form of a status thing. So now we're going to do something a little interesting here with this player creation. We're actually going to vary the attribute allocation to the class type. I'd also do it to the race type, but that would take too long to do. Don't have to pass anything, so let's leave it at that. But so over here we have the P attributes. We'll go ahead and create that function now. P attributes. So what we're going to do now is we have HP, the MP, and all the other variables for player are going to get set up here. So we need to initialize all those variables. If you don't want to initialize all the variables like this, you can actually add them as private member attributes to, or private members to the game class, and you can just call them as you would any other type of variable that's a member of a class. But since this is a smaller program, it works better this way. So HP int HP equals 0. Int MP equals 0. Int str equals 0. Int dex equals 0. Int vit equals 0. Int luck equals 0. And there we go. Just kind of keep them in order here. How they actually are. Alright, so now all those are initialized. And all we have to do now is do a base roll, if you will. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these and create a random for it. So we're going to say HP equals random, and then we'll choose a range here. Let's say 10 to 20. Actually, it should probably be capital random. Yeah. Alright, and we'll do that for each one of these. MP will be 5 to 15. STR equals... Let me just go ahead and get this out of the way now. We'll have to be doing it eventually anyway, so let's do it as we're typing it. Save some time. STR 3 to 9. VIT 2 to 10. Dex and luck. So, I have our randomized attributes there, and now what we're going to do is differentiate these base attributes, which are going to be randomized anyway. We're going to variate them based on the class type. So there's 3 classes, so what we do is mPlayer dot, or actually we'll do if here's an example of how you can use these get functions without having to actually have a variable storing the value. So if mPlayer dot get, oops, we didn't add that up here, player and mPlayer. So get p class equals warrior. I think it was the first one. So now what we're going to do is, I did forget an attribute though, didn't I? I forgot intelligence. Let's add that in. Int intel, I guess we'll say. Random 2 to 4. Int intelligence equals 0. Had a feeling I'd forgotten one attribute. Okay, we'll need to add that code over into here as well. And I'm also going to be showing you here in a little bit here exactly one of the pitfalls, or one of the grand things that a lot of I don't think a lot of people realize about how complex or how difficult sometimes programming can be, because you have to anticipate certain things. But I'll get more into that in a second. Let's go ahead and finish this code. Player get p int return p int, and the set function void player set p int, then int of intl and oops, p p int equals intl. Alright, and that does that. Set p int is not... Well, I must have typed something somewhere. Set p... Oh, yeah. There it is. And there's another example of how that improper case can screw up stuff. Alright, so that's all that. Now, come back down here. Actually, it was, yeah, 3. So, if player class, so if it equals warrior, what we're going to do now is, certain attributes are going to be added to and certain ones are going to be subtracted from. And the way you can do that is actually right in the single line. You might think that you have to say, for example, you might have to go HP2 equals random 10 to 50, and then you have to go HP equals HP minus HP2 or something like that. In fact, you don't even have to do the plus minus thing. All you have to do is this. HP plus equals in this case. So what this is going to say is that whatever value is on the right side here, you're going to add it to HP. It's worthy to note that you can only do this with variables that have already been initialized. So you can't go, for instance, int 0. I won't let you do that because HP has not been initialized in this case yet, or it has to be initialized first. So in this case, I'm going to go random, and since this is a warrior, they're more beefier, have more HP on them. So we're going to add another 15 to 45 HP on top of what they already get with the random roll at the beginning here. So random 15 to 45. For MP, we're going to actually knock that down a bit. Now here's where you have to kind of perceptive of this type of stuff, because now if we just left it as this, MP minus equals random, let's say 3 to 20. Well, 3 to 12, let's say. So don't wipe out everything. Now, if you just leave it like that, if you'll notice right away, we have a potential to have a negative value for MP, which can cause bugs elsewhere. So what we have to do is after that, we have to make a check. And in this case, you would want to have a second value. So I guess we do want to have second values, but not for not for setting them, but for the checks. Because you want to be able to store the old value in case the new value ends up becoming a negative number or 0. So you can revert it to the old value. This also does have the potential, though, to allow your characters to have a higher level of values attribute than they should, but at the same time it's going to be randomized, so it's not going to happen that often. Int str2 equals 0. Int vit2 equals 0. Int intl2 equals 0. Dex int dex2 equals 0. And int lec2 equals 0. So we got all these types of things. So now, what we do before we do this is we'll set MP, and you only have to do this for the attributes that you're subtracting from, not that you're adding to. So basically just say MP2 equals MP. And we'll make a label of store old MP value in case of negative new MP value. Also in case of invalid check. So we have that. Now we have to go if MP is less than 0. So if MP becomes a negative number, or actually less than 1, let's say, MP equals MP2. Restore old MP value. Let's see, next up is the STR. Again, for STR and VIT, warriors are a bit beefier, so they're going to have an increase in those. So str plus equals random. Let's add 2 to 5. And for VIT plus equals random. Let's see, VIT goes to 2 or 10, so let's add a 4 to 8. For intelligence, another one of these we have to do the check for. So INTL 2 equals INTL. Store old INTL, let's see, int value in case of invalid check. So INTL minus equals random. So intel is only 2 to 4, so we're going to only take 1 to 3 off of it. If intel is less than 1, intel equals intel 2. For dexterity, again, warriors, since they're beefier, tend to be a little bit slower. So dexterity, which would deal with attack and movement speed, is going to be, and evasion speed is going to be a little lower. So again, we're going to have to do the check again. So dex 2 equals dex. Store old dex value in case of invalid check. So dex minus equals random. So 4 to 12 originally, so let's say we'll take off 2 to 6 from that. And then if dex is less than 1, dex equals dex 2. And finally, luck plus equals, we're going to add on random 1 to 3. And then that's what you do for each different class. Next up is mage. Then again, we can just copy and paste this code here. Now in this case, we want to move things around this. So, for instance, mages are going to have more MP than HP. So, we need to move this up here and change it to HP. So we're going to be subtracting HP. And same with this. I'll move it up to here, change it to HP2 equals HP. Store old HP value in case of that minus, I want to change this a bit. Since we only start out with 10 to 20, we are going to have a higher amount taken off, but that's going to be 4 to, let's say, 15. That's still too much. 4 to 12. Well, this is 20 though. Maybe just 4 to 8 would be better. There's still a chance to have really low HP, but at the same time, we're not going to be totally crippling the class all the time. So, then for MP, get the extra white space out of there. Another thing I forgot to mention is white space. You should always leave white space in between sections that aren't related. For example, these two are related to each other because it has to do with setting the value for HP. This is a check for HP, but it doesn't have to deal with setting what HP is. So you leave a space in between it. And you do that with these too. Since these are all about setting attributes, you leave them the same, but if there's something that breaks them up like this, here, you have to leave a space. And leaving white space is part of the whole cleanliness issue, along with the naming conventions and comments and all that stuff. Just makes the code cleaner and easier to read than if it was all jammed together on one line, you know, just one after the other like this. You can see how it becomes a lot harder to kind of understand it. It's sort of like writing paragraphs. Each different section of code that's not related to each other becomes another paragraph. I was playing the Leviathan DLC for Mass Effect 3 last night, and it's pretty interesting. I think it's actually on par with Lair of the Shadow Broker in some aspects, but you'll get to see it in a couple days when I finish my few playthroughs to get all the different things for it. I'm just going to go ahead and leave white space here because we're going to have to break it apart there. Even though it does kind of make it a little too white spacey, it makes a little bit more sense to do it this way. str2 equals str. Of course, we're going to do the exact same thing with that one too, though. str minus, so we have base of 3 to 9, so really strength is not going to be too important for mages. 3 to 9, so we're going to say 2 to 6, or 2 to 5, because I think 2 to 6 was what was already there. Never mind, 2 to 6, yeah. 2 to 5 was what was there. 2 to 6, then do the check. Just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do the comments since pretty much you know what's going on with these at this point in time. Fit, we have 2 to 10 originally. Vitality is more for defense, again, not a major strong point. 3 to 7, I think we'll take out. Fit equals 2. Okay, Intel. Don't need it for this one though, because Intel's actually going to be increased. Intelligence. Start out with intelligence is 2 to 4, so we're going to add, see, 6 to 12. No, 6 to 18. On intelligence, we can get rid of that. Won't need it. Dexterity could be for casting speed for a real-time game. In this case, we would do it as a casting speed because there is real-time casting in Ragnarok Online, so we wouldn't need this. It'd just be another plus equals. start with 412, so we're going to add not too much on there. So 3 to 5, we'll say. Take that out, and luck will stay as that as well. So then move on to the final one, which is if mPlayer dot get p class equals thief. So this is going to be kind of an easy one to do, because what we'll just do is thief is going to rely more on dexterity than he is on most of the essentially we're just going to go through each of these and pull out the ones that we're going to use that'll be like this. For example, MP is not going to be a very high powered thing for thieves. HP is going to be, while important, it's not going to be as important, so it won't be as high as an increase as this one is. Same with vitality and strength. There'll be increases, but not as pronounced as with warriors. Dexterity is going to be their, well, intelligence will be this one, the minus there. This is kind of the advantage of doing it this way too, is that you can just do this really quickly. So I'm going to type everything out all the time. Kind of reuse some of the code. Intel, no dexterity, and luck will pull from here. Okay. And close that off, and then we'll close the function off at the bottom there. Leave a space there for the set functions. So HP, we're going to lower that down a lot to 9 to 17. MP, start with 5 to 15. We're going to lower that by 4 to 8. Vitality is going to be 1 to, or strength 1 to 4. Vitality 2 to 5. Intelligence subtracted by, let's see, we said we had 2 to what? 2 to 4, so we'll leave it as 1 to, as what it is here, 1 to 3. And dexterity, though, is going to be a big one for them, so increase by 6 to 12. Well, let's go 15 or 14. And luck will be 2 to 6. Alright, so we have all that. Now we have to send all these values to the player class. So mPlayer dot set p str mPlayer dot set p or wait, let's do the first two first. That'd make more sense. See, set player HP mPlayer where was that? Okay, player dot set p Alright, and there's all those. So essentially now we're done with that. I'm going to come back up here and show the player stats. So now we need to go over to player CPP again and create that whole panel, the menu for the player stats. So void player p or show p what the hell did I call it? Get p status, that's what it was. Get p status. So now you have to do a bunch of counts essentially. I have toyed at times actually creating like a box format around the stats and stuff like that, but it's on the regular console commands. It's really harder to control. It's a lot easier to do in when you're actually using a certain type of console programming called ASCII or ASCII, where you can control this kind of attributes. But since we're doing it this way, I'm just going to do the basic count list here. Count player stats. Let me just go pname. I don't have to worry about calling anything because that is a member of the player class, so no worries with that. What's this screaming about? Really? Cout error identifier cout is undefined. So that is interesting. Oh, I don't have, that's right. That should fix that. IO stream. Oh, that's right, we're not done. This too. STD cout using STD NL. I think that's all we need. Okay, count. Again, some of them more for the keeping things organized. Let's see, we want to do then player class. Damn it, H. There we go. Tab, NL. Count player magical points or mana points, whatever your particular acronym you want MP acronym to stand for. PMP. You can also do, since we have the, since we're not actually going to do any kind of battle simulations just yet in this one, I'm going to check my space again. I had 200 and something gigs on that hard drive. 163. Damn. I'll have to move that over to H after I'm done the file that's being generated. But if you're doing a like a battle simulation kind of thing as well, you'd want to do the max HP and MP along with these and identify these as the current ones so you can see where you're at, or actually do it as a like this, where you have a slash in between them and then do PM HP, so that it would show up on the console as being, you know, 10 out of 40 or something like that. Since we're not doing that, we don't need it. NL count. Now we do player strength. Actually, let's take this a bit further here. Let's just do it this way. Pname, and this goes out to wherever the next ones of those are at, just right about there. And then we'll do this. We'll say pname, then put an apostrophe, space. We'll do it that way, just to make it a little more personalized. Of course, this is going to maybe it won't, I don't know. We'll see in the final version here. Let's get everything done. Strength, PSTR, and L. Actually, get rid of that P name entirely right there and just go P name stats. Let's go to that line entirely. Or if I really want to, I can put it there so all the NLs line up. You can do it either way. I'll do it this way just so looks a little cleaner. Of course, that's getting into the OCD type of level there, which I don't have, but just for the sake of having the code look as clean as possible. P name S vitality. P vip count. P name vitality, I think it was intelligent. No, dexterity next. Let's try and keep things in the order that they're supposed to be. So yeah, intelligence next. Just so it's kind of you know, has continuity throughout all the menus and such. So intelligence, and I don't know, I might have spelled that wrong, but that's a hell of a spelling at this point. It's, you know, 12:01 a.m. After 12 o'clock, I say to hell with fixing typos. I'll just leave it till whenever it causes a problem. P and or a period if I'm on an IM or something like that. P name dexterity. And luck. Alright, so that's the status there, and we'll create another, we'll do a cat and L here. Then count. Of course, there's the funny joke of, I don't have an any key on my keyboard though. Of the computer illiterate people trying to find their any key so they can press it. Oh man, let's see, let's move that to, actually, again, this should be way out here, even though it looks so frigging stupid to do it that way. And L. Another cat and L there. And then we want to do a get underscore ch. Or get ch underscore, my mistake. Or underscore get ch even. The thing's all wrong all over the place there. Okay, so now that'll just print out all that information for you. So, I think we are done. Barring any errors, which there'll probably be a few. So let's go ahead and switch this to the default or startup project, so that when we actually go to build it, it builds that one. Yes, we have some errors. Error gets aged unidentified. Error show P status. Oh, I gotta fix that. Wait, what? What? Oh, show P. Get P status, not show. I guess I didn't add con iota player, did I? Nope. Well, let's go ahead and add it now. Alright, now it should build. And yes, it did. Following predecessor directive. Maybe you don't need these. I would say you needed the I guess I don't need them, huh? Interesting. I don't use them anywhere else, so I guess it's a brain fart on my part for that minute. Alright, so it's built, so let's go find the file and run this bad boy. Again, this is just a very, very simplistic kind of thing. I'll show you when I start this is going to be the last thing I do for this segment of it. On the next segment, I'll probably do recording for it tomorrow after I get the footage rendered out and can delete that stuff for Saints Row out of there. I'll show you a RPG game I made that's a lot more complex that I made during for like a test kind of thing for my Space Crusade for my Game Institute Student Challenge entry. Let's go ahead and run this thing. I think it's not in here. It's actually out one. And release. Yep. Classes. So, here we go. Welcome to Geo Ragnarok text-based character creation tool. So, we'll enter name Geo. We'll pick a race, let's say 5. Race 2, let's go with Mage, and here we go. Yeah, see, it did, what? Vitality got screwed up here. Guess I missed that one. Let's see. Game. Underneath mage. Warrior, mage, vitality. No, let's see, there it is. What the hell? If vitality is less than 1. Did I set no? Vit 2 equals vit. Vit minus. That's interesting. Mage. And those are set to 0 too, those shouldn't be 0. What the crap is going on? And this is an instance where breaks come in really handy. So what I'm going to do is add in breaks for each of these so we can see what's going on with those. Then on each of these for mage, where we have a check at the end here, I'm going to put a thing there as well. Alright, so debugging. Alright, so HP is 19. Let's see, strength is 8. Vitality is 8. Dex is 8. Intel is 2. And luck is something else. So, HP. What is going on here? Three. Vitality is 8. So that was weird. Do you want to rate another character? We're going to say yes. Or 1. So again, Geo, 5, 2. So again, I'm using F5 to progress through one step. In case you're wondering how I was moving through the code. So that looks good. Let's actually open up watch threads. It's a lot better to do it here. So int intl int HP. Actually, we'll just do intl, I think. And what you do with the watch values do is allow you to, there's no way that, we're on doing look right now. Allows you just to track. Seriously? Well, that's odd. Shouldn't be doing that. Allows you to track all the values in real time to see if they change in some ways they're not supposed to. So, let's gonna put checks before on the ifs so I can see what's going on with that too. So HP is 11. Now see, it shouldn't be tripping on that. If HP is... oh, now you can see how just one little problem. All these things here are wrong. They're greater than instead of less than. This is just a great example of how things can get so screwed up just from one tiny little mistake that you might think is not very big mistake, but it actually is. So we want to find the greater than symbol and replace it with the less than symbol in the selection. Replace all 7. So now we can go ahead and stop debugging. Go ahead and get rid of all the breakpoints here. And rebuild. And let's rerun it. Now it should be functioning correctly. So, Geo 5.2. There, that looks better. So again, Geo's stats. Geo's race, Dark Elf, class, Mage, 5, 3, 2, 5, 9, 10, and 8, and 5. That's actually kind of crappy mana value for so this again we'll see how random it really is. So Geo 5, 2. And here you go again. There's seeing that now you have a new set of stats that look more appropriate for a mage. Of course, then when you want to end, let's make a few more. Let's make him an elf warrior. And there you have that. Then let's make another one. Altair. Probably spelled it wrong. Make him a human thief. And there's stats for the thief variant on the different differentiation of the statistics, or other attributes. And when you're done, just push 2 and push any button to end the program. And that's the, I'll say, the basic and slightly intermediate introduction to C++. I'll give you a more complex introduction next time on the next segment. So I hope you found this video highly educational and informational. You may be able to write simple code yourself now, actually. But I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.